Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel Query Solution. So children, today I will be taking up the topic of grade 9 from the chapter The Fundamental Unit of Life, and today's topic will be discoveries and the cell theory. So even if you want to know all this into detail, do watch my video completely, and for now let us start up with a video. So children, these are all the discoveries that we have to study with respect to the fundamental unit of life. So all these discoveries, children, are first of all in relation with the fundamental unit of life, and we all know that whenever we talk about such fundamental unit which is there in our body or in any other living organism's body, we always talk about cells, right? So cell is basically something which is known as the structural and the functional unit of our body. So for the same, now we know more about cell, but then who was the scientist who has said this about cells? Who was the first one who has given us an idea that all the organisms have cell-like structure in their body which act as their fundamental unit? So for the same, we have to learn all these discoveries, children. So the very first discovery, I think everybody of you might have heard these names. You might have studied these names also in grade 8th, I believe. So it's not something which is very new to you people to learn. So the first discovery, children, is because of the scientist Robert Hooke, who in the year 1665 studied the sample of cork under a microscope. Now let me tell you what is the cork basically. Everybody might have seen a tree, right? So the brown stem region that even we can easily take it off. So the brown part basically that we get is something which is known as bark of a tree. That bark is nothing but the cork. So what did Robert Hooke basically did? He has taken the sample of cork and he observed it under his self-designed microscope. Because at that time, children, like around 1665, we know the microscopes even that we get very easily nowadays in our biology labs and all the compound microscopes that we use, that were not there. So people used to use their own self-made simple type of microscopes. So Robert Hooke in the year 1665 has observed the specimen of cork under his self-designed microscope. And once he observed, children, he could see honeycomb-like structures, like they were all hexagonal structures which he could see under the microscopes. So he concluded basically and coined the term cell for those structures, or the little rooms basically those structures were looking like. But we all know, children, that when we talk about this outermost part of the tree that we are talking as bark or the cork sample, they all are comprising of cells which are dead in nature. So the discovery of the cell, of course, goes to the scientist Robert Hooke, because he in the year 1665 has said us about the cells. But those cells were what? Those cells were dead in nature. So that everybody should remember. Then who discovered basically the first live cell to us? So the discovery with respect to the first live cell goes back to the scientist known as Anton van Leeuwenhoek. Okay, in the year 1674, what this Leeuwenhoek did? Again, he observed a drop of pond water. Now we know that even when we are going to observe a drop of pond water, there will be many microorganisms that we will be looking into the structure basically. So since he could also see many little animal structures into it, so he categorically said that these cells basically were moving, and the cells that he discovered were live cell in nature. But we should always remember that what was the sample basically he has studied? So he has studied the pond water sample under his self-designed microscope again. Then the discovery with respect to nucleus, children, we all know that whenever we talk about a cell, we talk about a darkly stained central unit basically. In animal cell it's central, plant cell it's not in the center. So such darkly stained area, children, which is found in the cell is something which is known as nucleus, and it is also known as the controlling unit of the cell. So who is the scientist who has discovered about the structure of nucleus, children? So Robert Brown in the year 1831 has discovered the structure of nucleus to us. Then the next scientist known as Jan Purkinje in the year 1839 gave us the concept of protoplasm, or also has coined the term protoplasm basically. So what is the meaning? You might have heard cytoplasm, right? That's a jelly-like substance which is present inside a cell. But what is this protoplasm? So protoplasm, children, basically include the living component of the cell. So what does it basically include? It includes the component of the cytoplasm along with the nucleus, and overall all these together component make up the protoplasm, which is known as the living content of the cell. The next three discoveries, children, are very, very important because these has formed the frame of the cell theory, which we are going to discuss in our next section. The next discovery with respect to the plant cell structure was given up in the year 1838 by a scientist known as Matthias Jakob Schleiden. So he was the scientist who gave us the concept that all the plant cells which are there in the nature, or all the plants which are there in the nature, comprises of plant cells. And we all know there is a little difference with respect to the structure of a plant cell and an animal cell. Still, if you are confused with respect to their structure, we will take it up as a session in our next videos. Okay, the next discovery with respect to the animal cell structure, children, was given up in the year 1839 by a scientist known as what? Theodor Schwann. So Schwann was the scientist who gave the concept of animal cells, that animals also comprises of cells in nature, and those cells are known as animal cells basically. And the last discovery which we need to know, children, is a discovery which is given by Rudolf Virchow. So in the year 1855, Rudolf Virchow gave the concept of omnis cellula e cellula. Now what does this concept basically mean, children? This means that always the new cells will come from the pre-existing cell. We all know that even in our body, cells have got a definite lifespan, and after those lifespan, the cells are replenished and basically new cells come into picture. So how those new cells are going to come? So these new cells, children, come from the pre-existing cells. The cells which are already there, they divide to form down the new cell. So this was the concept of omnis cellula e cellula. Now based on these concepts, children, especially the discoveries of Schleiden and Schwann, a cell theory was formulated, which we will now discuss in our next section. So children, when we talk about the concept of cell theory basically, which was proposed by Schleiden, Schwann, and even has the inputs from Rudolf Virchow, there are three important points or postulates of the cell theory, children. And again, when this question comes in exam, you have to write down all the three postulates because all are important into them. The first postulate, children, says that all the living organisms are comprising of cells into them. So whatever organism you talk about, irrespective it is plant, irrespective it is animal, even if it is a microbe, all the organism, if they are living in nature, then definitely they will be comprising of structures which are known as cells. The second important postulate, children, says that these cells are the structural and the functional unit of body or life. And we all know what do we mean by saying structural, because these cells are the one that forms the different structures in our body. We know the body organization, right? The cells forms tissues and organ system, and then we have our body. So they form our structure. At the same time, why are they known as functional, children? Because at the end, cells are the structure that perform different functions in our body. Like irrespective, when we talk about transportation of oxygen, transportation of nutrient, even waste disposal, all these work at the end are carried out by a cell which is there in our body, and that's the reason we say cell as the structural and the functional unit, which actually becomes our fundamental unit of life, right? And the third postulate, which was given up by Rudolf Virchow, the concept of omnis cellula e cellula, also follows in the postulate of the cell theory. As I stated, what does the concept basically mean? That whenever we talk about the new cells, children, they always comes from the pre-existing cells. The cells which are already there into nature, from them only the new cell arises. So these are the major important postulates of the cell theory, children. So in today's session, we have discussed about the discoveries. We have learned basically about the cell theory and the postulates of cell theory. So I hope the video is clear to you people. In case if you have doubts, you can ask to me in the comment section box. And don't forget to subscribe my channel, and don't forget to hit a like button as well. So let us meet in the next video where we learn about the different cell organelles which are there in our body. So till then, keep studying, stay healthy. Thank you so much.